What's good, everybody, man? What's cracking, man? We up here on New Comic Book Day with the indie review joints, and we got all these joints on deck. We got Stu Dog in the building, actually waiting on him to pop up, but he should be here any second. We got a bunch of new joints to talk about today, too. Yeah, like I said, it's New Comic Book Day. So we're gonna wait. Okay, hold up. Scratch all of that. We're gonna wait for some people to get in here. What's good, man? I see got a couple viewers popping in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here we go. So, all right, man. Welcome everybody to Sixth Element of Hip Hop. I am Reno Noir, and this is New Comic Book Day Indie Reviews. This is where we basically talk about the indie joints that come out on Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, and we bust it up and sort of give our 2 cents, our dope, hella dope, super dope, or whack rating system. And we like to talk about, the indie world in general, at large. And let me welcome my co-host Stu Dog in the building. What's good, brother?
What's good, man? Salute. How's everybody doing today? Salute to the tribe. Salute to the chat. Salute to everybody in the world.
Salute the world. Okay.
Salute to everybody in the world. I've been listening to De La Soul, so you know.
Okay. Yeah, that'll do that. Now, I was just telling everybody, man, we got a lot of joints to talk about today. A lot of new indie joints. We got and on deck, and also big news, man, and a super duper shout out to my dog Al Mega. You know what I'm saying? Comic Crusaders. We officially, Comic Crusaders over here at Sixth Element. This is Comic Crew all day all day. So big shout out to Al for hooking it up. My man shoots me all of the new joints, all of the indie joints, whatever, early before New Comic Book Day, so that I have a chance to read them and review them and all of that good stuff. So thank you, sir, to Al Mega. And we got G Swift over there on Twitch. What's good, fam? Salute. And my man Lance Alexander. Yep, and on YouTube.
Lance, we want to try to get him on the show, man. I met him.
Oh, is that right? Who is Lance?
Yeah. Lance has a very robust 90s comic collection. All 90s. All 90s.
G Swift from Twitch says, "What up, Stu Dog?"
Yeah, G Swift, what's up? Yeah, Mr. Lance has a very robust comic collection, man. We need to get him on the show, see his collection. Get his thought. You know what it was when I was talking to him. He said what we keep saying all the time, that there are a lot of guys that collect comic books and read comics, but you just wouldn't know it. Like, they just don't put it out there.
Right.
And he's one of them. He's one of them. And but he has a very robust card collection too. He's into cards. He's into comics, and there's a lot of guys that's into it, man. So we created this channel
in the hip hop,
and the hip hop. Yeah, and he's in the hip hop. He's in the cards and he's in the comics, and it's like,
listen, everybody that I know that's in the hip hop, like all my hip hop, heads, friends, everybody, every one of them love comic books. And if they don't read comics or know a whole lot about them, they definitely like the characters. You know what I mean? Everybody in hip hop rock with X-Men. You know what I mean? Wolverine,
right?
Sound like your neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah. So Lance Alexander, we would dub him the regular guy that loves hip hop and comics.
Word up! Shout out to Lance Alexander.
Lance Alexander, man, get in touch with me, man. We can get you on here, man, so we can speak. We want to showcase your touch.
All right. And so we like I was telling everybody, we had some new dope indie joints that popped today. Also some not so indie joints, DC Black Label, Marvel Gamma Flight. We do want to touch on that. And personally, anything that's not Marvel and DC, a lot of people call it indie. There is a different category though. You got the big two, then there is Premiere, which are your Image, Dark Horse, IDW, those, the big ones under. They still take a fraction of the stocks, of the market rather, that Marvel and DC takes. So for all intents and purposes, this is the new Comic Book Day indie reviews, but we will definitely be talking about, Image, because they've been killing it. Dark Horse, killing it in the indie stuff. And I call it indie because it's not based on superheroes usually, or it's not, your typical what you think of a comic book. It's something, and it's usually more mature. Not a lot of indies doing stuff for the kids. You know what I mean? Like, so for our age bracket, you right? Am I right? And
no, you're right. You're right. 100% right.
Our age bracket, indie is I think speaking
it's what we
more
need.
to it. Right.
It's what we need. It's what we need.
Right. So I wanted to take, a day out of the week just to sort of represent for the indies, man, and let people know. So with no further ado, I got a video that I want to show y'all that is a dope from my man OG Lee. Shout out OG Green Lantern. Shot me the I believe it was OG. That the static origin. It's like a static origin. That was you.
That was me. Yeah, that
okay,
was
me. My bad. I gave credit to the wrong. Well, shout out to Stu Dog for hooking it up. But yeah, man, let's watch this real quick. I thought it was dope, man, because if y'all are into static, he just dropped issue number 1 last Wednesday. We covered it, we touched on it. And so if you are not familiar with the OG static, it's cool to kind of know about the history, before you know about the present. So here we go. Dope,
super dope.
Dopeness. That's dope stuff right there, man. I love the OG static stuff, man. But the new stuff is looking pretty cool, man. The artwork is phenomenal, crazy, really over the top. Really did their thing on that. So that's gonna be dope.
But did you ever get to collect any of the static comics when they first came out?
Nah, because remember, I only started collecting comics in 2019. Like all this you see here, all these boxes, all this.
Well, you've been busy, sir. You've been busy, sir.
I went nuts. When I was 13, I think, around 1993, when like the Carnage saga, first appearance of Carnage, I had that. Spawn number 1 through like 15. I bought all those as they came out. And during that time, I was into comics like heavy. Like I had this comic store in my town, and I'd take the bus out there, and be in there all day. But as I grew up, I guess, around the time I started getting my, permit and driver's license, and, I wasn't checking for comics anymore. I was checking for the females. And I kind of let comics fall by the wayside for decades. When I moved into my first crib when I was 17, I sold my comics to help with the down payment. Like I had to go back to like my dad's house where the comics was at, like, and find them. I wasn't even messing with them. And it was like Spawn 1 through 15. It was like the whole Carnage, Maximum Carnage, the whole Venom saga, the whole like everything to do with Carnage and Black Suit Spidey. Like I had a nice, it kills me. You know, that's the number one thing you always hear. Like, if I had the comics I had when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah, you
But
hear that a lot. You do hear that a lot.
you know, and Comic Crusaders, salute. How dare you
Web,
set up?
nigga.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, I had to. Come on, Al. You know, listen. Al said he had rooms full of books, like
Well, I know
stacks
Al
on
did.
stacks of shit, and he sold all his joints. So you already know what it's about. But see, he was still in the midst of his joint. Like, he begrudgingly sold his collection. I was like, yeah, oh, cool, free money. Like, you know, when I was a kid, I sold my joints. I didn't care. But something around 2019, before pandemic, before it became, you know, popular to be a comic collector, which, you know, kind of spawned during the pandemic. Like, way before that, I was already, you know, starting, but I was still what you call a reader. Like, I wasn't buying books to collect for, you know, value or anything like that. I wasn't even buying them because of the art. I was just buying them to read them. Like, that's why I got a whole shelf of graphic novels. I read the hell out of digital, you know. Marvelous Muncie, shout out Marvelous Muncie and all the LCS owners. Don't kill me. I didn't know yet. I was young, you know. Well, I read lots of digital. You know, I just, and then, like, I started seeing this YouTube dude, man. Shout out to Rob from Comics Explained, the Rob Core. I was seeing his videos, and he was talking about this House of X, Powers of X that was about to come out, and I always loved X-Men, like the 90s cartoon animated joint. You know, I even made myself like those terrible Fox movies when they came out. So you know, but hindsight's
That's all I got.
2020.
That's all I got is on that
You
one.
know,
Just,
but yeah, so House of X, Powers of X, he was like breaking that down. I'm like, man, I got to get this. So rather, they were talking about it was coming out. So as soon as that came out, I bought it, and I just started buying everything that came out: House of X, Powers of X, Dawn of X, every mutant comic that they put out from Dawn of X. You know, the Krakoa stuff. I have it. Like, I was just buying it, and then I loved that so much. That was by Jonathan Hickman. So I'm like, okay, this cat Hickman is deep. So I started looking up all the Hickman stuff. And I bought the, you know, Secret Warriors run, the 28 issue run. Like, I was buying whole runs of stuff because, you know, a comic book is like an episode of a TV show. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't have like a beginning and an end of a story. It's just a little piece of the story. So I was in my mind, it was always about buying the run. So I would always buy, you know, at least 10 comics at a time. You know, and that's how my collection kind of grew, because I was buying chunks of stuff. So all of a sudden I got 3 short boxes, and I'm like, man, I got a collection here. And then I read that Harbinger issue with the Illmatic line in it, and I'm like, man, it's hip hop all through comics. Now it's hip hop in I mean, it's comics all through hip hop, rather. And now we got hip hop and comics. It just clicked in my head, and I'm like, man, hip hop and comics sound like a YouTube channel.
Here we go.
I started the Sixth Element, and that didn't go nowhere. Shout out to DJ Tiger and the Fullblast Radio. I was on Full Blast one day in the chat room. We were talking about comics, and DJ Tiger saw us, and he was like, yo, talking about them comics, man. Yo, after this set, we're going to bust it up on Zoom. What's up? And we was like, hell yeah. We hopped on Zoom and talked about comics and hip hop. That was our first episode of hip hop and comics, and we've been doing one every Monday since that day. It's been like 8 months, so it's been a great journey, man. I love, and I had to start up a new show, this new Comic Book Day Indie Review, just to keep it popping and keep more content coming. Because you know, and Stu, you know, you were one of the main ones always coming telling me, yo, it's people asking for more stuff.
Yeah, you know? all the time, more content. You know, you got guys that binge watch content. That's just what they do. Yeah, so they want to see it all. They want it all the time. They want instant gratification, and you can give it to
them. right. That's what it is, man. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
So
give them what they want.
Give them what
you
they
want
want.
To get down to it?
With no further ado, Spawn. I want to talk about Spawn Universe first, because Again, shout out Omega Comic Crusaders. Yes, sir. My man, let's put that on the full screen. My man, Omega just interviewed Todd McFarlane himself on the channel. Phenomenal interview, brother. That was dope. Todd McFarlane talking about his new Spawn universe that's coming out. And that right there, that is Gunslinger Spawn. Look how dope that is, y'all. He got the 2 guns hanging low. You know what I'm saying? Outlaw style with the that shit is phenomenal, man. I can't wait
the
to
cape with the cape as a cloak. I mean a coat.
The cape as a trench coat. Right.
Trench coat, yeah.
Yeah, man. That's gonna be a great series when that comes out too, because that'll be a spinoff. So according to Todd on the interview with Al, Spawn Universe is not a series like we kind of thought it was. It's a one shot.
Yes.
So yeah, but that is a great pickup. That's right. Yeah. That's that variant.
It's gonna introduce you to all the new Spawn characters that are gonna spawn from this comic. Right. So they took everything, put it together, and not to spoil it, because I know a lot of you guys probably picked it up today. So
we gonna spoil it. No, we spoiling it today. We spoiling.
Well, I'll let you spoil it. I'll give a synopsis. You can spoil it. I'm just gonna let you know. Spawn Universe is gonna spin off a bunch of other Spawn comics, and we're gonna get Gunslinger Spawn, Medieval Spawn. We're gonna get Robot Spawn. Whatever kind of Spawn is in the comic, we're gonna get it. But in this comic, you have everybody in there. Gorilla's in there, which was dope because they revealed some stuff about Gorilla I didn't know. So, but yeah, that I didn't know, and my jaw was on the floor. I was like, okay, that makes sense. You know, if you read Spawn, I don't know how much Spawn any of you have read, but I'll let Reno spoil it. I'm just gonna keep, because I don't want any death threats.
Nah, we're good, man. You know, we try to break it down, you know, for people that wasn't able to pick that up on New Comic Book Day, or might not be able to buy comic books. You know, some people can't even buy comics, you know, so we giving them everything, you know. Let's look at some of this art real quick. Let's check out some of the art of the Spawn universe. Look at that. Yeah. So this is like the cover right here.
Yeah,
one of the covers. Right. One of the covers.
Yeah, she's Spawn. And that will also be a series.
Right. So, and this is the script. The plot is by Todd McFarlane. The art is by Jim Chung. We didn't get McFarlane. I wish McFarlane would still, you know, draw the joints, but I understand. Like, he's to that point. He don't have to do that no more. But he's definitely got he's got some great. Huh?
At least he inked it. Because it says inks.
No, he did ink it. He did. Yeah, that's right. He did ink it. He is inking it. And then Brett Booth did the Gunslinger stuff. Steven Segovia did the medieval stuff. And Marco Takara did She Spawn. And like you said, Adeleso Corona and Todd McFarlane did the inks. Lettering by Tom Orzechowski and world design, and colors by FCO Placencia. Andrew Dalehouse, Peter Sarsgaard, cover art. My God, it's a lot of. J. Scott Campbell did the cover, so that's a class. That's a legend right there. J. Scott Campbell, Brett Booth, Todd McFarlane did a few of the variants. Creative director Todd McFarlane, and editor Thomas Healy. That's a lot of people involved in one book. But I will. This is a 70, right? And this is a 74 page
74 pages, yeah.
Right.
That's like a
you know, and Todd said it was like 64, you know, but with like 60 of pure art. They don't do, you know, Image doesn't do, they don't fill their books with ads like Marvel and DC.
No,
you know what I mean? It's art, and then at the very like last page they might have an ad. Blows the guy's cat's head off here. It's crazy, but look at this, man. This is just sick right here. He pulls that out, the cat, but beautiful artwork, man.
That is.
And when they get into Spawn, it gets even more glorious.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, because when I read it, it literally reminded me of classic 90s Spawn. Like everything about it, the whole feel of the book, the way it was written. And I'm not even going to say classic 90s Spawn. I'm just going to say regular Spawn. Like, you know, it's just, you know, it's modern, but it's Spawn. Like it feels.
I love the scene.
Yeah, I like that too. Like they didn't
He's
change
holding the
anything
kids
about
by the
Spawn.
chain. Nah, they didn't change nothing. He's just OG Spawn. He's got the kids hanging by the not kids. These are the criminals, the bad guys. He's
The
got them
criminals, yeah.
hanging by the chain off the edge of the building, and he says, give me the info basically, and you've got 3 seconds before I let y'all go. And she's nothing, nobody. We were, it's the truth. I swear. He's like, I believe you, and lets him go.
Oof. Didn't like
And
Batman.
but Batman, he won't kill nobody. But this says he drops them anyway. Their bodies will pretty much liquefy upon impact. Then whatever else is left will quickly disintegrate before any cops arrive. But with Todd's Spawn, with his whole universe, he's got there's two sides. There's heaven and there's hell.
There's hell, yeah.
And they're at war, and they've got many factions within, each one, but it's not heaven and hell like that we think of. Heaven and hell in this, it's like he'll have, hell will have, like, basically it was like this: since the beginning of time, the first human that died, as he explained it, went to heaven. The second human went to hell. The third that died went to heaven. The fourth went to hell. And that's how it's been since the beginning of time. Every other death, one goes to heaven, one goes to hell, has nothing to do with how you've lived your life, what type of person you are, whether you're good, bad, nothing at all. It's just a random, every other person, you get hell, heaven, hell, heaven, hell, heaven, so that it's fair or equal. Like he said, Jack the Ripper might go to heaven, and the old bingo ladies might go to hell. But and he said, the devil might tell God, like let's trade. I'll give you these 8 old bingo ladies, and you give me Jack the Ripper. And God be like, nah, like I don't want them old bingo ladies. I need Jack on my team, because when we go to war, we got to be able to, I got to be able to fight too. Like, so it's a very different. Look at that.
Yeah, look on the celestial. Look at that. That's incredible, man. Look at that.
That's bad,
I like
right
that.
there.
That is. Like I said, classic Spawn. It's my man Cy Gorilla.
There, you're right, Cy Gorilla, right? Man, this dude, man, my breakdown is thus. The way, like, first of all, it's a double-sized joint. Yep. And look at that. The families. Yeah, man.
It was a dope book, man. It really was.
Definitely.
I enjoyed it, and I can say I can give it a hella dope. And I enjoyed it.
Right. Well,
I liked the writing. The story was captivating, man. It's like I said, it's classic Spawn. Like it's I don't want to give out any spoilers, man. I don't want death threats, but I'm going to say this.
I mean, I'm going to break it down, and if it spoils it for you, I don't know what to tell you, because personally for me, somebody can tell me all about a movie or a comic or whatever, but if I love everything they're saying, it don't matter. I'm going to still go. I still got to see it for myself. You know what I mean? It don't spoil it for me. I still, like, unless it's like a movie where, he dies at the end, or he was really this guy the whole time. Like, don't tell me that part. But you can tell me all about stuff that goes on in the movie. Spawn's universe is a double-sized one-shot issue that begins a storyline that will directly lead into new Spawn monthly titles. It comprises 4 chapters, which are all written by Todd McFarlane. The main story has art by Jim Chung and accounts for the majority of the book. In this section, Spawn, aka Al Simmons, takes Cy Gore, and goes back to the island in an effort to stop his enemies from destroying the Earth and taking over the vacant throne in Hell. Meanwhile, Cagliostro is, I think he's the old guy from back in the day Spawn, but Cagliostro makes his plans of his own. The second chapter, entitled Medieval, which is the art by Steven Segovia, features medieval Spawn as he deals with an evil wizard. The third, She Spawn, gives readers a quick glimpse into how She Spawn, aka Jessica Priest, is dealing with her role as Spawn. Finally, in the last chapter called Gunslinger, readers get a quick backstory about Gunslinger Spawn, which is one of my favorite cool
Me
favorite
too.
new iterations.
Yeah,
But
me too.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
had to get the cover. I had to get the
hmm
Gunslinger cover.
And
But we
it's
do
a huge
learn
issue.
it is a huge issue. But we
It's a
do
huge
learn one
issue.
thing. I'm not gonna say it's a spoiler, but we do learn in the comic that Gorilla once was a man. He was turned into Gorilla.
Oh, that was previously unknown.
Yeah.
hmm
Which, like I
Yep.
said, it gave me an insight into Gorilla I never had. And if
hmm
you're if you're a Spawn reader, I don't know if you read the first series, second, watch the HBO shows or any, which were dope.
Yeah. I
They're
love
still dope to this day.
those animated joints, man.
Those
The
animated
animated
joints, yeah, they're
phenomenal.
really great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Gorilla wasn't in them, but we find out that Gorilla used to be a man and that
hmm
he was turned into Gorilla.
He's a man, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a huge issue, but well worth the high price tag. It's not even a high price tag. It's pretty cheap. I mean,
No.
but it's worth it. It's 68 pages, 4 chapters.
Yeah, $6.
Right,
6
right. And it's important for understanding the new upcoming Spawn titles that McFarlane is going to be releasing in the next coming months. Anyone planning on reading those titles should definitely start with this issue. I enjoyed the issue. But it was definitely written for new readers. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
100%. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah,
there's
I
plenty to
agree.
captivate. Yeah, but it was plenty to like keep us, excited, like enticed rather. Long-term readers are gonna love it. The main story is the centerpiece of the issue, and it includes a few guest appearances as well as a few storyline surprises. The backup stories are fun as they focused on other spawns. The artwork in each of the chapters is solid and consistent, and I especially like the artwork by Brett Booth in the Gunslinger section. Like I was saying, Gunslinger is bananas. And I found his attention to detail to be amazing. It's also worth mentioning that for those who enjoy variants, that joint you just showed us, Stu, is
Mhm.
one of the few cover choices to choose from. The Gunslinger Spawn. They didn't go nuts.
Gunslinger Spawn.
They didn't go
No.
nuts with 50 variants. You know what I mean? He doesn't really do it that way. You know. But Spawn Universe has been advertised as a pivotal piece in the future of Spawn comics, and after reading the issue, I would agree. And this, it's just as important as like issue 100, 200, and 300. Those are some main keys. Clearly sets the direction for the future of new titles as well as for the current Spawn monthly title. But like I said, anyone interested in reading the Spawn comics that are coming out, definitely need to start with this and pick this up. And I'm giving this a super dope. We got our rating system. It goes dope, hella dope, super dope, and of course whack is whack. But this is top of the line to me. Top of the line
I
to
have to
me.
agree. I have to agree. I was thoroughly impressed and captivated while I was reading it. The artwork was great. The story was
Right,
great.
right.
The way, and even though it's a one shot, I like the way they did it because it's not a one shot it doesn't feel like a one shot.
Right.
It like when after you're done reading, you're like, all right, what's next? Like I can't wait to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But they
And it's
let
an
you know that it's gonna
anthology,
be
you know.
right. They let you know it's gonna branch off into other books, so they let you know that. But
Right.
it's refreshing, man. Like I like the creativity behind the whole thing, the whole project. I love it, man. I can't wait to read these other books, see
Yeah,
what
they
they
killed
all
it.
about. Yeah, they did.
They killed it. Shout out Slick Nick in the building. Salute.
Slick
Forget
Nick.
about it.
Slick
Yeah,
Nick,
man.
salute.
And Al Mega salute. He's definitely being a very active commenter, kicking it. Y'all please join in the comments, man. Join in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what what I mean, what y'all want to know about. Throw some stuff in there and definitely throw some comments in the comment section. But please smash that like button. Please smash that like button on the way in, or on the
And that
way out.
subscribe button and that share button.
I'm sure you all subscribed, but if you're not, share that joint to people that you know that may not be, because we want to push Sixth Element of hip hop, man, and get it popping so that YouTube will spread it to more people, which would give me the ability to keep doing this, man, and keep bringing y'all stuff. I have fun doing it, and y'all seem to like it, so let's get it popping. What else did you read, Stu? we read Batman. Did we read
no, I didn't get the chance to read Batman, but I did read
Something That's Killing the Children that we have to talk about?
I read I didn't get to read that. I actually tried to buy that. When I went to the comic, it was sold out. I was like, wow. Like it was just there was nothing there. It was just an empty place where it belonged.
I'm glad that I got one in my pool. Because I've had it in my pool since the last issue. Like I just started at number 16. I was lucky enough to get a 16, which was got a 16. Couple of and a variant. The 16 issue 16, which we covered, a couple weeks ago, was like is a key. If there's a key in Something That's Killing the Children, that's the key.
That's the key.
Yeah, it's the origin of the main character of Erica Slaughter. So it shows her origin, how she got into the the guild, the monster killers, and it's a whole like origin issue of the main character. So that's gonna be phenomenal. And they did like, I don't know, man. There's got to be 20 variants at least. Like I keep every day I see a new variant. Yeah, issue 16. They went nuts. Mm-hmm.
Well, Nottingham, when I was there too, is on, I think it's third printing.
Printing. Yeah, printing.
Yeah, it's on its third printing of the last couple issues. So I was like, Nottingham is really. I read the ones you sent me. I think it was last week, and they were good. And I was like, man, I didn't know it was that popular. I didn't know it was as popular as second and third printings of a comic. I mean, that's a popular comic. Yeah, who did?
That's up there. It's like it's. I'm telling you, it's Something That's Killing the Children. Department of Truth, Nottingham, like that's the hottest indie joints right now, and they're on fire.
I believe
for being on Nottingham #1 was already damn near unaffordable when they were on issue like 2, like 3, like immediately. That shit was on.
Nah, are you serious?
Immediately, like right now, go try to find a 9.8 Nottingham #1 for less than your weekly paycheck. You can't, you know what I mean?
Less than my weekly paycheck. Yeah.
Telling you.
Yeah, that's I could believe that because listen, I was like, wow, I was like second and third printing. Nottingham. I was like, this is
and they're on issue 4.
Yeah, I was like, this book is on fire. Yeah, issue 3, 2. I think they had all 3 issues. I know one of them was a second printing and one was a third printing. And I was like, man, I didn't see issue 1. I just seen 2, 3. And yeah, you're right, they're on 4. But 2 and 3 was on the second and third printing. I was like, man. I was like, who knew? I would have never in a million years guessed that Nottingham, because there was no other book in the comic book shop that was on the second, third, but Nottingham was. So, shout out to the people that wrote Nottingham, man.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. I gotta get me one to tag it and slap it.
For sure, man. I'm definitely looking for that. Well, let's get into okay, I'm sorry. What else did you read? We'll do that.
Okay, next. I read what was the one? Nuclear Family.
Oh, I didn't do that one.
You didn't read Nuclear Family? It was great. Good.
Okay, tell us about it.
Okay, basically it's like Lost, but you have a family that in the future there's a family that lives in a house that is in the middle of a nuclear fallout zone, but the house is undamaged and so is the family. Like there's nothing wrong with them. So in the future, they're trying to figure out. There's one scientist trying to figure out why they are there and why they're unaffected by everything. So he finally figures out that they're part of a time paradox, and they should be able to travel back in time. So he goes back in time with him, and his whole thing is to go back in time. Now, right here, this is the beginning. This is back in the '60s, before the bombs drop, before the nuclear winter and everything. You got the two guys talking. They're talking about a song and they're writing letters home. And then you got the air horn goes off, the bombs start dropping, and then they're scrambling to make sense. But then you pop, you go to modern day, like Lost. Yeah, you go to modern day, like in 1960, you go to like Lost, because it's like flashbacks. So they keep flashing back. and then they're talking, and then the scientist guy starts telling them like, look, like it's something strange going on here, and the world we live in is really messed up right now. So if I go back in time with you guys, which is what he's telling them right here, I can change some things because this reality is not supposed to happen. So he gives them an ultimatum. He says, I'm gonna let you guys go. Right now it's sort of like the world they live in is sort of like Fallout, the game Fallout. So they're like in vaults, like people living in vaults. And he lets them go.
Like underground.
Right. So he leads them, he meets them at an underpass, they get in the truck, they go into the house, but then all of a sudden bombs just start dropping. And they have to dodge the bombs, but they have to make it to the house. They finally make it there. And there you go, you got the boom, and they flash back to
56.
Now, right, 56. Now, I'm thinking, when I'm reading this, because I'm like, wait a minute, bombs are dropping here and the bombs are dropping there. I'm thinking that the bombs that they're dropping there are also dropping in the future, but they don't know it. Like they're dropping the bombs in the past, but they're also dropping them in the future, and they don't know it because when they flash back and then flash forward, anything that's happening in the past is happening in the future, but it's just slightly different. So the scientist guy is right. Like he's like, wait a minute, like, well, I'm like, well, he's right. So that's when they figure out that there's a paradox going on. And then you got the mutant infected zombies of the apocalypse. But it's a dope book, man. It's really a dope book. You gotta read it. The flashback stuff I like. I like the lost feel.
It's showing before they drop the bomb and after they drop the bomb.
Right. Everything you see right there is after. That's after
they drop the bomb. Right.
Yeah. That's the future. So all of that is the future. Like, see how the house is just like it's undamaged. But then when you look outside, you look at the middle where they were at. There's nothing there. Everything's been blown away.
Right.
And see, now you go back. See, was that the past? No, that's the present.
Now this is the past.
That's the past.
Right?
That's the past.
But this is the past, right? And then okay, so it's kind of parallel, right? This is the past,
right? Like Lost, like it Lost, yeah. Yeah, they had the flashbacks and the flash forwards. See, and then the bomb drops. They're dropping the bombs. And me personally, I think that whatever is happening in the past is happening in the future. You know what I mean? So it's like, see, like there's they're playing the song, there's the family, that's and then that's it. They just end it. Like you will see next week. I really want to know. I'm really interested in reading that because I want to see what happens next week and if they really are, or if they really can, or like if they're really linked to the future somehow.
Well, that's and that's the sign of a decent story. If it makes you want to see, and it makes you want to know the next one. It makes you want to turn the page.
Right. That I want to read. Something's killing the children. I want to read that because I
can't
find that book anywhere.
Like it's crazy popular. Like beyond.
But Nuclear Family. Nuclear Family. I got to give a hella dope.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. What do you think? Really hella dope? Okay,
hella dope, bro. It was the story. It was just nice. It was good, and I like I said, I like the flash forward and the flash back. And the way
it looked
they
really
link
well
it,
drawn.
It is. Too. It is. It's
the art looked amazing.
And the story is just flatline. It's not confusing.
Right.
I think that was issue 2, right?
That's no, that was. Oh, I thought that was issue 1.
I think it was issue. I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong.
No, it's no. I'm sorry, Buzz number. Okay, it's issue 5. So
is it? Yeah, I know it wasn't 1.
Is that right?
I was like, yeah, but it was good. Like we on issue 5.
Wow, it seemed like it was like the first one. See, but that's good though. Yeah, that was issue 5. Sorry. But yeah,
no, I could jump right into that.
Yeah, you could jump right into it, and it wasn't like confusing. You weren't wondering what's going on, and you wanted to see what happened next. So it's a good sign to not only want to see what happened before this, because if that's the case, like it's a bunch of stuff you don't get because you want to see.
That's like whenever, because remember when y'all gave me Berserker? When you gave me Berserker, I had never read my issue 1 of Berserker.
Me
So you
neither.
gave me like issue 2 and 3. So then I
Yeah.
read them. I was like, wait a minute, let me go back. So I went back and read the other issue. I was like, all right, and it made sense. I was like, yo, this is good. Like this is really good. And
Yeah,
I
man.
just, it wasn't that I read it because I didn't like it. I just didn't hit it. I didn't have the time to read it. But when I read
Right.
that one, I was like, let me go back and read this. So I went back, but reading it backwards, it made a lot more sense to me.
Right.
I think then it probably would have if I'd already for it, but it was good. It was good. But Nuclear Family was great, man. That was phenomenal, bro. I mean, you can't give me something like that and then have me not want more. Because
Yeah.
now my antenna up right now.
Boop, boop.
Did you read the other one? Did you read the other one you sent me? What was I don't know what it's called. Begins with a B.
Black Hammer.
Not Black Hammer. I actually was gonna buy Black Hammer.
Yeah,
I
Black
put
Hammer
Black Hammer.
Reborn. Something is killing the children. Gamma Fight. Batman Reptilian. Did you read that?
Yeah. No, I didn't have a chance to. I read the 3 that you gave me, and I read Spawn.
I know what. Yeah, I know which one you read. Yeah, okay, you read the ones before. Yeah. So it's cool that you'll tell people about some, and I'll tell people about some. We don't have to have read the same thing. We can do this. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like, okay, so
okay, Phantom on scan. Okay, BEQUEST and Phantom on scan.
And I know people is waiting to hear about Something is Killing the Children. It's too hot of it. It's a hot comic right now. So with no further to do, this is Something is Killing the Children, written by James Tynion IV, art by Weather Delardra, colors by Miguel Muerto, letters by And World Design. And Something is Killing the Children continues to be one of the most consistent and well-written ongoing comics. Even without much action, Tynion always finds a way to create page-turning suspense. Like you want to know what's going on next. Typically, bridge issues can feel very tedious, flat, like filler issues, because remember number 17 was a monumental issue. So Something is Killing the Children 17 gives us anything but that. I mean, this issue succeeds best with its character development, as well as the anticipation buildup is phenomenal too. Like it does not have you bored. You got Erica, who will eventually become Erica Slaughter, one of the Order of St. George's monster hunters. Is newly arrived at the Order's headquarters. Her parents and best friend are dead, as we saw in 16, brutally slain by a monster. She's alive. She fought the beast off for long enough, for Jessica, one of the Orders, to steal the creatures, in Erica's plush octopus thing. Jessica both impressed and well aware that Erica's been through horror, offers her a position in the Order. So now we're at the House of Slaughter. Erica's sudden initiation into the Order, controversial at best with Jessica's peers and superiors, begins right now. So like it's like she's going to be hazed, she's going to be inducted into the guild, if you will, and the Order rather. And Muerto and Delardra command scale with a similar strength during this comic nightmare/memory sequence. The titular something is only in one panel and then heavily in shadow, but it's a multi-limbed monstrosity bound as much to the panel as frames as it is to the space within them. Though Muerto's back grid and precise reds and Deladra's thick panel lines and expressive body language, the monster dominates the sequence despite its minimal page time. The author, James Tynion IV, matches his collaborators in Something is Killing the Children 17, turns on a series of private conversations between Erica and Jessica, Erica and fellow hunter in training Aaron, and Jessica and her rival in the Order, Cecilia. Each is fraught but fraught in a distinct, specific way. Jessica wants to do right by Erica, even though she may well have doomed her. Aaron and Erica get to a rough start. They've got enough in common to spin a halting bond. Jessica and Cecilia have history that informs everything from how they approach hunting and how they drink together. As the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, issue 17 is a great next step in the series, telling the story of the, you know, origin of Erica Slaughter, like a phenomenal new character in the comic world. She's like becoming super popular. Um, and there's interesting nuggets of information about the mysterious organization, you know, known as the Order of St. George, which is another thing that, you know, we've heard about, but we didn't know anything about it. So this story will definitely be about Erica, but it gives you so many details and stuff about stuff that you've been wondering about if you've been reading this comic. So this is another great book. I'm not going to call it a filler issue, which is what you would normally get after, you know, something like issue 16. They're keeping it going, man. So definitely super dope as always with Something That's Killing the Children. One of my favorite things out right now. Highly recommended. So that was Something Is Killing the Children number 17. And let's move on to, okay, let's do one you read.
Okay. The other one I read was called Hang on, I'll tell you one second. It was called BEQUEST.
BEQUEST.
Yeah, BEQUEST. BEQUEST.
How you spell it?
Hang on. BEQUEST. Number 4.
Oh, BEQUEST. Okay, yeah. That's right. That's right. All right. Yeah, so what's that about?
BEQUEST was off the chain, right? It was
What?
Yeah, BEQUEST was like BEQUEST was like that party that you hear about but didn't get to go to. Like, like that's how BEQUEST got down. BEQUEST was it was like 30 pages or something like that. And it basically, all right, from the issue, from where I read, I didn't read the beginning, but from what I gauge, they're from a Dungeons and Dragons type kingdom, but they travel to different realms.
This is a book that looked really cool.
Yeah, one of them being Earth. They travel to like Earth, like the Earth realm, and they're there fighting each other. Yeah, they're fighting like evil wizards, things like this. So you got some BEQUEST. That's the good team right there. And in the beginning, like the beginning part. Scroll back up, Reno.
Wow, this art's crazy.
This
man.
part right now, this threw me off because they're driving right, and you have no idea what's going on. So that's the crew right there. So I'm reading and they're driving and they're talking, but they're saying, you know, the one guy's saying, "Look, I just learned how to drive this like last week. You know, I don't, but I'm a better driver than everybody in the car."
And these are like elves, right? Like
like elves,
medieval.
Yeah,
people.
like it tells you right there, like the elves, warlocks, wizards, sprites,
warrior, half elf,
warrior, half elf. Yeah,
oh,
so they're like
it's like a D&D, right? It's like a D&D
It's like
party.
a D&D. Yeah, it's like a D&D modern age, but they're in our time. Somehow
but they're talking flashbacks about medieval times and stuff.
Well, they're talking about the realm that they're from, like their home. They're talking about their home, and that in this caption right here, and you know this guy's doing magic. And then they're comparing magic because in the Earth realm he says there is no magic. So Earth would be now here with us, modern day.
Right.
So we don't do magic, but where they're from, they do. Right. So they call us a magicless world. So there, everything's based on magic where they're from. So
we got the technology. They got the magic.
Right. So you got a wizard or warlock. He's holding a bunch of people hostage. He's asking for demands. He starts talking about taking over that world. And apparently they live there amongst us, but kind of in secret, I guess. Because he does talk about, you know, others like them being there. And I'll let you know why in a second. So it goes down, they had this great battle in this place where they're at. And I don't know where they're at. But they're having this great battle. They're using magic, they're cursing, they're trying to stop this one guy from summoning a dragon. So he's trying to summon some type of dragon, and then he summons like this god spirit, Like the guy's like a god spirit. They summon him.
This here
He
guy.
comes out. Yeah. He comes out. Um, but I guess like in all magic,
Oh, wow,
you gotta power up when you first come into the
mm,
realm. So
right.
so
And
he's
got the
he's
peacock
coming in.
feather cape
Yeah. The artwork is great, man.
pimped out. Yeah, the artwork's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like real cartoony,
Love
but
this.
I like it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. It's cartoony,
Yeah.
but it's got dark, thick lines. Like really
Yes.
sharp angles. So it doesn't seem kiddie cartoony.
Now that's one of the elves getting ready to shoot one of the mage, who's the main character.
The big dude is
With
the
a
main
gun.
character.
Yeah, the mage. He's one of the main characters.
All
He's
right,
probably his
okay.
main.
One of the party.
So
Right.
they go right. They shoot the godlike creature instead, and that's the regular humans we're shooting them. The gun runs out of bullets, so he can't shoot the mage. So then he's apparently there's something that's summoning like a dragon or something, but they don't want him to summon it. And so they're really battling it out right here. So they get the dragon up. Then the one guy said that he go back, Reno. Down the one guy says that he's been there right here. This guy, he says he's been there a long time, and that he used to be a maintenance guy in one of the buildings in Chicago. So Chicago is a place they love, apparently, in this book. So the battle ensues. Necks get chopped and slashed, heads come off, heads get flying. The main wizard weakens their magic, the magic guy that they brought with him. But the magic guy's been there a long time, and he claims he's been alive a long time here on Earth. So he does a static shock, uses electricity to kill the other wizard. Bzz. Boom. But he's hurt in the process. He got hurt in the process. So he's hurt. The other wizard that they brought to this dimension, he's done for. You see the bullet holes in him. He's leaking all over the place. But
golden blood.
His blood, there's something special about his blood. One of the other wizards, he takes it and he injects it in himself. And he becomes like really powerful. So now he's tempting the mage, because he's a mage also, to do the same thing. And he's telling him, like, look, if you take this, you'll become all powerful. You'll be able to, wreak havoc and revenge on the people that sent you here.
Peer
and then you'll be able to
revenge.
Right. Telling him you'll be able to take over this world. There's a lot you can do. So he hands him the needle. So once he starts handing him the needle, all of a sudden, Elf Girl comes up, chops his head off. Swoosh. She says to him, "Oh, thanks for distracting him. While you did that, I was able to sneak up on him, cut his head off, and stop him from becoming powerful." So she says, "You weren't going to take him up on his offer, right?" The mage looks and says, "Nah," stomps the vial out and runs off. So they finish fighting, they save the day, and then they're whisked back to where they came from. The guy right there, the magician, that's with him, that's been here a long time, he's dying.
The black dude.
Yeah. And he's telling him, like, look, I can't go back with you. I'm dying, and I can't go back. But before he leaves, he tells the mage, like, listen, he says, there's more about you than meets the eye. And he tells him, I know it and I seen it and I heard what the other guy said to you. And so he said, but I don't think that's you. He said, you're better off here. He's letting them know, like, you're better off here if you really want to find yourself than you are back where we came from. And he wishes him back. He uses his magic to take him back. We come in and we like, what the hell just went on here? So they're back in the kingdom. They explain that they stopped, the evil wizard, did whatever they had to do. And all of a sudden, the mage walks up to the two ruling people. They're like the king, queen, and Eternia, and whack, punches the girl right in the mouth. Just gives it to her right in the gives her the famous chop clopper.
Gives it a knuckle sandwich.
Yes, sir. So they say to him, for you striking one of our most sacred people, the elders, the president, or AKA the equivalent of Kim Jong-un in this land, you know what the punishment is. And he says, yes, I want to be sent to Chicago because it's banishment from their world.
Right.
So he says, look, and he says, and my friend sat there and watched it.
Chicago, please.
Right. And he says, well, my friend sat there and watched it happen, so they're just as guilty. So you had to send them
Uh-huh.
to. So just send us all to
Uh-huh.
Chicago, please. And that's what they do. So
Cool,
they're
man.
there, they're on Earth, they're in Chicago, they're chilling. And he's talking to the elf girl. Apparently, she has a spell on her when no one can touch her. And he tries to touch her, but he let her know, like, look, as long as we're here, that magic keeps weakening and weakening. Sooner or later, I'm gonna be able to touch you. And then he shows where he tried to touch her. Spell kicks in.
Wow.
He gets thrown through a wall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Until then, tacos. The end. And
Great book.
that's man. Great book. That looks dope. Yeah, I'm into that. I would definitely check that out. That the art is crazy. Um I love, D&D stuff, and it's cool that they kind of, mixed it with the modern day and stuff. That's cool. I normally wouldn't like that, but the way that they did it, it works.
Right.
It's not corny. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, nah, that's cool. And that art, man, I can't get over that art. Like for me, man, that's crazy right there.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, I was blown away reading it.
It's
You know,
so
the story.
unique. It's a great art style. I mean, yeah, it's well drawn and everything, but it's such a unique style, man. Like you don't see that a lot. I've never
No.
really seen this one,
Mm.
Reminds me a little bit of Kohei, the guy that does My Hero Academia, when he
Yeah.
does his close-ups and stuff.
Yeah. The art reminded me of there was an old cartoon back in the day called Pirates of Dark Water.
Yes.
Reminds me of that very much.
Dark Water. Yep. For sure.
The art,
So
yeah, the art style.
mhm,
What do you got?
mhm.
So what do you got, Mr. Reno? With
Well, we
Black
got Black
Hammer?
Hammer Reborn. That's a Jeff Lemire joint, and Jeff Lemire is killing it. You know what I mean? Like anything this dude touches is crazy. He's just killing it with the writing. Like he's got so many hits right now. Like dude is crazy. But Black Hammer, it's officially been more than 2 years since the core Black Hammer series has added a new title. In the meantime, we've received a handful of spin-offs, including Barbalian Red Planet, Colonel Weird, Cosmo Hog, Skulldugger, and Skeleton Boy. Now, the franchise's primary narrative progresses in Black Hammer Reborn from writer and Black Hammer co-creator Jeff Lemire, and the artist and Black Hammer newcomer Caitlin Yarsky. Before moving forward too much, let's think back where Black Hammer left off. After the initial 12-issue Black Hammer series, Lemire rolled out Black Hammer Age of Doom, and it's here in the main group of heroes seemingly return to the farm for good. By the time Black Hammer Reborn picks up, no trace of characters like Abe Slam, Golden Gale, or even Madame Dragonfly remains. In fact, Reborn launches Black Hammer 20 years into the future from the point of the time of Age of Doom, when that wrapped up. And again, typical Lemire fashion, he closely follows standard tropes before putting his own spin on things, his own, spice, if you will. And Reborn and Reborn, it's well, first of all, we follow Lucy Weber after she gives up the Black Hammer mantle for good. And it's here that the classic, here that the Lemire begins writing, his writing, kind of shines through. This is when it starts to really, really come through. And, at its core, Black Hammer is an expert deconstruction of the superhero genre. It's a superhero world for people tired of superheroes. Which is like why we're doing, indie stuff. A title that looks to break the norm without playing tribute to the very stories that made, sequential storytelling great in the first place. Lucy Weber is one of the world's greatest superheroes. So in this world, it only makes sense that she hangs it all up. If you've been keeping up with things, from Black Hammer, it's the most obvious decision to make. Luckily, the story's master execution manages to propel the story past expectations. You have one of the world's most powerful superhero, and you make her perfectly human. You give her a family, you give her an unfaithful husband, you give her a dead-end job at some office building where, old typical office crap. And by the time you get to the end of the book, you realize that this is the culmination of every Black Hammer story published so far. You have the Heart of Black Hammer, you have Parazone funkiness, you have the bleed over from Skulldigger. There's even a cameo from Dr. Andromeda that you'll love if you're a fan of the series. To cap it all off, the artist Caitlin Yarsky comes through with some incredible work. You got a style reminiscent of the standard Big Two Cape book with some added flair that makes it, indie. And towards the end of the issue, there's a panel or two involving Lucy Weber and her husband, where the artist utilizes very cool angles and perspective tricks to make it, to make the I don't know, the gut wrenching script that much more like gut wrenching. It's just really well done. Black Hammer Reborn #1 has nearly everything a fan of this world could ask for. There are crossovers and surprises, Easter eggs, and the issue feels like it's just the tip of the iceberg. Most importantly, however, the comic stays true to itself. It stays true to the Black Hammer creed, and it falls in line tonally with the stories that have come before it while propelling the narrative forward for the first time in years. It manages to find the perfect balance between character and story, giving readers enough character beats to get invested and enough of the plot to keep you interested. And again, Jeff Lemire, you already know this joint is going to blow. Like, it's going to be mad, popular. It's just going to be one of those books that you're going to want to grab now while you can still afford issue #1. Like we were just talking about, your Nottinghams and your Something's Killing the Children's and, that kind of stuff, Department Truth. I think this is going to be one of those books. So put this in your pull list. Try to find you a copy now while it's cover price. Try to get one at cover price, because I'm telling y'all, this is a book that's going to go up fast and soon. Black Hammer Reborn. Everything Jeff Lemire touches is doing that. So
that I agree with. Yeah, I never read the original Black Hammer. Never read that. Never read those. Heard about it. Never read them.
Yeah, it's a very rich,
Yeah, those are in my folder at my comic shop. So when I go Friday, I'm gonna pick those. I'm gonna pick that up and really read it.
Well, let me show y'all then. Check this out. Like, just so you can see the art from this book. Like, this is gonna be a cool book to grab. Blow that up. This almost looks like, like Apocalypse. You know how Apocalypse grew super big? Like,
we still have the Black Hammer cover in front of it.
Oh, for real? All right.
Yeah.
Wonder why that's happening. Huh. There you go.
There we go.
All right. So yeah, Apocalypse looking dude.
Okay.
Let this thing populate. But yeah, man, you got the characters that you, if you're following Black Hammer, that about. Everybody's kind of making an appearance, and but yeah, man, I just think Dark Horse. Well, this is the old joint, Black Hammer, the OG stuff. 20 years later, artwork's crazy. Girls young, like up to date. But yeah, it's like I said, man. What more can I say about it? Like, this is one you want to go look for. This is one you want to definitely grab now while you can. Got this crazy cat out here with the hold on, man. My mouse is freezing up. Okay. But yeah, man, like cool new Black female, so it's gonna blow up.
Did she just throw the hammer through him?
He's the black hole, so he's got like this black hole in his chest.
Oh, okay.
He's sucking. See, he's
Yeah, I
drawing
was
that. He's
getting
sucking
see.
everything.
I was getting see. Oh, she let the hammer go.
He sucked it in. Like, yeah, he's pulling everything in. See, through his black hole. This is everything getting sucked into his chest. So he's got this joint on his back, right? That sort of creates, the singularity or whatever. So I think it's a dope character. I mean, it's in the vein of a Marvel or a DC, probably more of a DC character, but it's very original. There she is. Knocked him out.
And she flies off into the sunset.
Mm-hmm. And it's got, smartphone stuff and, it's very up to date, but, like I said, cool book.
This is cool. That.
Yeah. Hella dope.
Yeah, that is.
But it's very story driven.
Heavy on the dialogue.
Yeah, it's it's a story. It's not like this happens, then this happens, then this happens. It's very a story, story oriented. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, man. It's Spadeonomics in the building. Word, he's like a Spider-Man. That's exactly what I thought too, man. He seemed like definitely like a Spider-Man or a Batman villain. Like at first I thought of Mr. Freeze, you know what I mean? Or, like a Spider-Man joint, like maybe Shocker,
Yeah, I could go with Shocker. Mr. Freeze is some of my favorite villains, man. I like Mr. Freeze.
Did you like how he was portrayed in that movie by Arnold?
Loved it. Arnold saved that movie.
Wow. Okay.
It was bad. Before it to be totally bad, if it wasn't Arnold's performance in that movie saved it from being.
Well, yeah, Tommy Lee, right? Tommy Lee Jones was doing Two-Face, the worst Two-Face I've ever seen in my life. Like
that was
Jim Carrey did the Riddler.
That was the one before. That was good. That one was decent.
I couldn't stand that crap, man.
No, you didn't like that one?
Nah, man. I like Keaton. I like the Keaton Batmans,
so you didn't like Val Kilmer. You didn't like the Val Kilmer joint.
Val Kilmer's one of my favorite. He was one of my favorite actors. But I don't know, the Batman nipples and the whole suit, like it was just
yeah, it was bad.
Really goofy, like that. The car was, because Tim Burton rides the line of goofy and crazy fantasy and reality. Those movies just went way over that line. They were just pure comic, cartoony fantasy, very, very like ridiculous stuff. And Two-Face is one of my favorite characters. Like Mr. Freeze is one of yours. And so yeah, man, I couldn't stand the way Clooney was not my favorite.
I hope not, bro. I hope not.
Yeah. Shoot those last two 90s Batman movies into the sun. Word.
Yeah. Batman and Robin was just, like I said, it was bad. But Arnold, you get if you take Batgirl out of it, it gives you a 50% good movie. There was just no need for Batgirl. It was just dumb to put her in it. I don't even know why they even did that. Arnold kept the movie from being a total flop.
I couldn't stand Jim Carrey's Riddler, man. Like Jim Carrey's another actor that's one of my favorite actors. But
you didn't tell enough riddles. It
was like Riddler's not. I know, at least I'm not a super DC fan, so I don't really know. But I never thought of Riddler as like just a completely insane lunatic, wacky, and he wasn't wacky or zany. Like he was just more
Riddler
Riddler.
Okay, this is the best way I can describe Riddler. Riddler is an ego-driven narcissist. Period. Point blank. End of discussion. That's Riddler. He's very, very much into himself, but he's really smart. but he really thinks he's smarter than everybody. So like
Mm-hmm.
he feels if you're smarter than him, then you should be better than him. Like he
So
always
the
asks that question. Who,
what?
Riddler?
Go ahead. Nah.
That's Riddler. That's
So the Riddler. So the way they portrayed it in the show Gotham was on point.
no, because he wasn't smart enough. Like
Mm.
they all right, look at it like this. When he first started, I remember he had the machine. He wasn't really that smart, and then all of a sudden, the machine. No, Riddler was always a very sharp dude. Like he was always telling
Well,
riddles.
Enigma in Gotham was smart,
Yeah,
but
he always was.
and Gotham is before they became who they were. So he was like, I could see him getting to that point where he was getting ready to become
Right,
the
Riddler.
Riddler.
Right. Well, Riddler,
But I
Riddler
mean, the
prides
ego part,
himself on. Right,
narcissistic
Riddler
part.
prides himself on. Yeah, he prides himself on his riddles, and you being able to figure it out. Like he doesn't make them for you to guess. He makes
Yeah.
them for you not to guess. But he feels that if you're smart enough to guess him, then you're on his level.
Mm-hmm.
And he feels that there's not many people that's on his level. That's why he doesn't really work with too many of the other villains because
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't feel that they're really on his level. So like
Mm-hmm.
Batman, he teases Batman with riddles, and that's how he speaks to Batman in riddles.
Yeah.
That's just it. But Batman has always outsmarted him, and that's the thing that gets him the most. Is how can he outsmart me? I'm like the smartest dude alive. But yet he
Well,
just keep
speaking of
getting
Batman, we got Batman Reptilian that just dropped today. Just to kind of touch on it real quick. It was if I'm being honest, I didn't really know what to expect going into Batman Reptilian, which kind of made the experience of reading it, fascinating and a little underwhelming. The issue basically consists of different vignettes of Batman trying to uncover a grisly conspiracy and coldly intimidating various people in his path. This song and this kind of thing that's going on starts to wear a little thin until the back half of the issue, when the actual intriguing circumstances of the series begin to be revealed and then met coldly by Batman. While Garth and his script has enough mystery to keep readers interested, his take on Batman feels frustratingly one note, reducing him into the outdated trope of the sociopathic boogeyman. Outside of the general mystery of the series, the biggest highlight of the series is Liam Sharp's art, with the hand painted aesthetic that starts like a little bit dark and cold, but it grows into something really interesting by the end. Overall, this issue is it's a mixed bag in every sense of the word. But I'm definitely interested in seeing the next issue. Just to like I said, in the art, it's let me see, let me pull this up. I got y'all right now. The art on this is crazy. Like it's definitely unique. Very cool looking. Like more of like a hand painted style. You know what I mean? Here, check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Boom. Y'all see that?
we're being blocked.
There
There
you
we
go.
go. That's what I want to read right there. That icon
Right.
rocket.
Right. That icon and rocket. Yeah,
I need
man.
that season 1 in my life.
Definitely. But that's an ad, obviously. But see, you can
Let's
see
get
over
on.
here. Yeah, this is Batman. Like, look how wicked that looks. I mean, I
Yeah,
love when they make it. Kind of reminds me of Batman Damned. If you read
okay.
Batman Damned, or if you've seen the artwork, you can definitely see the parallels. But this is really like look at that. It's just,
Look at that, man.
let me blow it up even more. Crazy. Clayface.
Clayface.
Hold on.
Scarecrow. The Scarecrow too.
I know this reader is making it. Okay. That's way too big, man.
Clayface. I forget Clayface's original name. His real name is Garrett or something like that. Clayface is a very interesting character too. Another villain
Well,
I like.
yeah, I
Batman.
was wondering about that because I got a buddy, shout out Clayface90 on Instagram, one of the madmen of comics, and he's all into Clayface. And I never got the appeal. Like it's not a common character for people to be like, that's my dude. Like, the Joker is one of the obvious, Two-Face,
Right.
but
Right.
who likes Clayface? Why? Tell me about Clayface. What is he about?
Basically, he was an actor. And he was using this like I guess it depends. There's a couple different origins, but we'll go with one of the more modern ones. He was using his cream, and it would enable him to shape his appearance on screen so he could play different roles. It had like a side effect, start dropping crazy. He overdosed on it and became Clayface.
But what about it makes him a character that somebody would say
Clayface is to me, every time I've ever seen Clayface in a DC comic, it's always been, I don't know, he's always been after something. And Batman and Robin usually stop him, but because of his morphing abilities, he's like Sandman from Marvel Comics. He's like their version of Sandman. Every time I've ever seen, he's always.
Look at this real quick, man. Look at that. That don't even look like a comic book, man.
No, that don't. That Penguin and Joker.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Like, I would get this book just for the art. It was like a little. There's the Riddler right there. But yeah, no, I feel what you're saying. About Clayface.
Yeah, Clayface
is his powers and his origin and all of that. But what about his human? Like, what about his character? About his personality?
He's basically he's a thug. He's a criminal, basically. He's like Sandman. The difference between Clayface and Sandman is that Clayface is a criminal who actually normally always tricks Batman, and then he usually does something in the middle to slip up, and Batman guesses that it's him.
So far, every single thing you've said about Clayface fits every villain in the Rogues Gallery.
No.
Except for the Sandman part, except for the morphing part. But as far as like, nah, he's definitely different.
Because his schemes are really elaborate, and he usually teams up with another villain.
See, again, that's Riddler, that's Joker, that's Two-Face,
and they usually
Penguin.
But Clayface is usually able to pull the wool over Batman's eyes, and then Batman usually just figures out that it's him, and he usually stops him. But Clayface is strong, he's durable, he's made out of clay. Besides Solomon Grundy, that's one of the harder guys that is for Batman to stop physically. Like Batman has a hard time stopping. He usually finds a way to do it, but it's very hard. Yeah, he can be big, he can be small. Clayface and but Clayface isn't normal. I can tell you that, but I like him. He's very to dive into his psyche. It's just basically, being the way he is what drove him mad. It's what made him the way he is.
Yo, but look at this, man. Look at the Penguin right there.
I know. Look at that.
Like this art, like I said, man, I really was not expecting this when I read Batman, when I saw the title Batman Reptilian, and even when I read the synopsis, about it, like the little summary of it, I thought it was gonna be very different. I thought it was gonna be like almost like a Batman deceased or something, like Batman was gonna be a reptile and running through the town. Like, I thought it was gonna be
more about Killer Croc. I thought Killer Croc was gonna be.
Or yeah, you know what I mean? Like definitely. But I thought from what I read, like it seemed to me like they were saying Batman was being a reptile at some point.
Yeah, I gotta read it. I'll definitely be able to elaborate
on
the
the Rogues Gallery. Like
Nah, how can they all be the same? You got
No,
Clayface,
I'm
which
no,
is
no, no. You
Clayface
said
is a
like
thug.
you said this.
Joker,
You said
Joker's a
Batman,
maniac.
but
Harvey
but
Dent has
look,
split personality.
I
Waylon
know
Jones
they're
is
all
probably
different. Now you
Waylon
naming the
Jones is
differences,
right.
but you
Waylon
were
Jones
just
is
naming
probably
the
the
stuff
most
that
right. Waylon Jones is probably the most normal one out of all of them. He just has alopecia. He just has like a skin disease.
he said you got alopecia. You going bald.
Yeah, he has like
You get
a
man
skin
bad.
disease that makes him it makes him like he is. Man bad is just he took that serum that made him mad. You got poison ivy,
Poison ivy got
and that and the
phantasm in the
bat
back.
is
That's the
phantasm.
phantasm. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
phantasm.
You never see him. But
Her,
they've been
her,
showing
her,
him
her,
lately.
her, her. No,
He's on
phantasm was a her.
yeah, her, right. They definitely put Phantasm on some of the new covers, man, of the last couple of issues. Dope.
The
Mask
movie
of
Mask of the Phantasm, though,
right.
dope movie.
Yeah, look at the colors.
Look at that, man.
But
That's
yeah, man.
dope, man. That's
I'm
dope.
this is
I
definitely
like
getting one of my top reviews. Um the art alone, like I said, man, the art saved it. Like the art killed it. I mean, the story's cool, like I said, but I'm buying this for the art. Like this is a crazy book. I'll be looking out for variants and all of that.
it. And now we
That's
have
that's official.
Phantom on the Scan. Couldn't wait to talk about this
All right.
one. Did you read it?
Phantom on the Scan. Nope. This is all you.
It's a good thing I did.
And it's Colin Bunn though. It's like I chose it because I definitely want to read it, but
you gotta read it.
I just couldn't get up. I'm definitely gonna read it. This seemed
I don't
really
want to spoil it for you. I might just not even talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Nah, bro. That's not how we do. We
I
post it
know. I'm
up.
just kidding. No, I'm kidding with you. I'm kidding.
I feel you. Let me pull
Phantom
it up.
on the Scan was just listen. I have never read anything like this.
Wow.
I have seen really bad TV shows, movies that try to duplicate what this is. But this right here, Cullen Bunn and Mark Torres, they hit the nail on the head. They hit the nail on the head. They really did. Issue number 3, Gifted, starts out where they're fighting a telepath that has telekinesis, and he's just throwing people and things and furniture and kitchen
Glass.
tools all over the place.
Right.
Glass, he giving it to him. Now, what they say right there, I think he's telekinetic. The reason why they say that is because he's not the only one. The rest of them are too. So when you're looking at it, they're all telekinetic in some way. They all have some type of telekinetic power. But here's the catch. They don't know how they got those powers. They don't know where they came from. And they don't know their past. So after they telekinetically take this guy out together with their powers, the one guy says, listen, he asks one of the other guys, one of the other telepaths their powers, because he says, look, every time I use my powers, it feels like I'm going to a darker place. So I'm really just trying to chill out on using it. And as they go through the comic, the one girl right there, she reads his mind. They asked the guy with the coat to do it, but he says, I can't do it. One of y'all have to do it. So the girl goes and does it. As she goes into his head, she finds out a few things. She finds out a little bit about where they're from, the organization that made them the way they did, and they find out that they were made that way. Like a lot of them were taken at birth, and they were experimented on. Some things were added, some things were taken away. That's how you get them being to where they are. But they have no memory of it. That's the one girl right there being taken away as a baby. The guy that they just killed, he saw all that, so he was part of the people that did what they. You can see right there, they're cutting into her head, and then they're gonna pull something out, and then I guess that's what makes them. But they don't say. But I guess that's what makes them. But she's feeling that as they're doing it. She's feeling it as an adult, what they were doing to her as a child.
Man, they put something in there too, didn't they?
Right. They took something out. So
But
maybe
look
what
right
they
here,
took
they putting it in. This the
yeah, they put
petri dish.
what and then they put right. So maybe that's what made them what they are. We don't know. They don't say.
Mm.
They're still looking for answers. So they get back in the car, they take off, and the girl uses well right here she's talking to the guy. He's dead, but he's making a projection of himself and he's
This
talking
art
to
is
her and
crazy.
yeah, art is off the chain.
Art is
Like that
crazy.
guy's he's holding his brains in his head. And she asks him that, she says, "So you know so much why you're holding your brains in your head." And the guy
Mm.
says, "Well, we all have problems. Nobody's
Yeah,
perfect." So
nobody's perfect.
yeah. So they have a little discussion about what they do next. So they decide to go after, going into the guy's head, they found out the name and address of a guy who can give them the answers. They try to call him on the phone, he doesn't answer. So they make a telekinetic phone call to him.
Mm.
And this guy asked her, like, well, she's going on the web. What she did was she used what she call telekinetic web surfing. And she looked up the company, the name of the scientists and the people, and for Zoop, she gets kicked out. And she says, well, maybe the company has some type of telekinetic block to where
Mm.
people like us can't go on the website and nosy around. Um, she did get a scientist's name. They try to call him. He doesn't answer. The guy in the back right there, uh, Astro projects itself to the guy's place and says to him, like, look, like the guy's shocked when he sees him. He's like, yo, who are you? What are you doing here? But he automatically knows who he is and where he's from. And he knows he's one of the kids they experimented on. And he says to him, like, look, you have to get out of here. Some people coming, they're gonna come get you, they're gonna come kill you. You have to go immediately. And he said, we tried to call you, but you didn't answer the damn phone. So this is the best way I get in contact with you. So he explains the whole thing to him. Guy's walking at the door, he says, hey, don't forget to take your phone. Guy says, okay. Um,
Mm.
he astral projects himself back, and then he feels good about it because he's like, look, using my powers, I never used my powers to save anybody before, and that's I like that. Like he felt
Yeah.
good doing it. Like he's like,
Mm-hmm.
like whenever I've ever used my powers, it was never for nothing like that. Like actually feel like I saved somebody's life, and I can get with that using my powers.
Right.
He runs into a little trouble on his way back. His astral self runs into a little trouble, and they end the comic right there.
Right. Yeah,
But
man. That's dope.
this comic does what a lot of TV shows on sci-fi try to do, Netflix on, but they fail. This comic succeeded where they failed. Because when they do telekinesis, I think they dive too deep down a rabbit hole in Hollywood. I really do. I'm gonna be honest. But this comic didn't go too deep, stayed in the
Right.
shallow waters, and let you see the sharks.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good. It was good. I need to
Yeah,
read
man.
that
That
next
that
issue.
that that art was great, man. Like that's definitely a book I'm gonna add to the pull list. Like, some books I read, review, and that's it. But every now and then it's some I gotta go to the LCS and be like, yo, put that in my box because I want them issues. And
No,
that's
it was
definitely
good.
one. Yeah, that's definitely
No, it
one.
was good. No, that book was good.
Not an indie by any means. But it is New Comic Book Day, and begrudgingly I will show a yeah, it feels like old school movie Scanners. Almega said, peep it if you've not seen it. Yeah, Scanners. Remember Scanners?
Yeah, Scanners was good. Yeah,
Old
Scanners
boy
was alright. Scanners
busted
wasn't
his
bad.
head in. Yeah.
Yeah,
On
but
some
that was better than Scanners to me. It was. I mean, listen, like
right.
I said, Hollywood tried, man, but if they want to make
Yeah,
another movie about Texas, that which Hollywood loves, that's the book to do it. That's what you do it from. You do it from that book.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah, but like I said, Gamma is not a indie by any means. Definitely a Marvel book. But it is New Comic Day. This is a comic that I've been waiting on because, as y'all know, I'm a big Immortal Hulk fan. I say it all the time. Al Ewing was one of the dopest writers, in my opinion. It was like, for me, it's like Hickman, Ewing, Zdarsky. And then, then it goes other people like, Bunn and Claremont and all that. But just for me, Hickman, Al Ewing, Chip Zdarsky, some of the dopest, guys that are still writing currently today. Immortal Hulk brings Hulk back to that sort of horror, you know what I mean, vibe that he used to. That it was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, that's what the Hulk was in essence. You know what I mean? Like, it's a smart kind of scientist dude that turns into a mindless rampage monster, and that was a nightmare. Like, that was horrific. Like, look at the original Hulk. The ink, they couldn't get it, so he was gray, but he just looked not, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't look like a cool dude. Like, it looked like he was pissed and he was hurt, and that's what Hulk was about. And so Immortal Hulk kind of recaptures that, man. Immortal Hulk is one of Marvel's most popular series of the past few years, which means it was only a matter of time until Marvel decided to create some sort of offshoot. Gamma Flight, which takes many of the familiar faces seen in Immortal Hulk and kind of brings them in with Marvel's premier Canadian superhero team, Alpha Flight. Kind of, brings them together. If y'all know about Alpha Flight, that's the Canada, like, X Factor, right? Or X-Men or whatever, or Weapon X. I think Alpha Flight, and I never read it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Alpha Flight is like super soldier stuff. Am I right?
Yeah.
Or were they mutants?
Yes, well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little known fact. Alpha Flight, yes, they are from Canada, and one of their premier characters was Wolverine. Actually Canadian. It was actually Canadian, but they don't say that. And they don't even talk about Wolverine being Canadian now. We didn't talk about that. Alpha Flight is
because Logan's definitely Canadian.
It would in my opinion, Alpha Flight would be like the Canadian version of the X-Men. Mixed in with
that's what I thought.
With a little bit with a sprinkle of Avengers in there for good measure. But
and I'm a super duper X-Men fan. Like, Wolverine and Cable are my favorite characters in all of comicdom, and mutants is my favorite, subject, is my favorite, type of book. And so Alpha Flight, Immortal Hulk, Gamma Flight, it was just obvious. Like, so I definitely was into, checking this out, and just, in the vein of, showing y'all new stuff that's kind of different and, might not be, big like Avengers or, the big titles. It gives us a bizarre dynamic, the two, but it also one that seems like it will make for a whole lot of fun, across this, miniseries. It's a miniseries. It's 5 issues. This is issue 1 of 5. Gamma Flight number 1 is primarily used to set the stage and get readers familiarized with the cast of characters, that compose the oddball crew. Alpha Flight mainstay Puck is once again found in this incarnation of the team, but joining him are some faces that you might not expect. Doc Samson, taking the form of Doc Sasquatch, is also on the team, as are Titania and Absorbing Man. Since this is such a strange crew on paper, it makes some interactions between the lesser known characters quite enjoyable. The characters' iterations and writing largely carry the debut issue. Since this is the first set of a spin-off, there isn't a well-developed narrative thrust up front to pull you in on the opening pages, but it's, that's still happening in Immortal Hulk. While a moment that rarely grabs you does arrive, expectedly on the book's final page, much of the issue is about establishing where these characters are and acquainting readers with how they feel about one another. Still, it isn't a bad thing whatsoever that writers Al Ewing and Crystal Fraser's work in presenting that background is excellent. Gamma Flight also does a great job in filling in some of the gaps from Immortal Hulk, which is something that I really appreciated. Even though I have been reading Immortal Hulk, not fully caught up with the series. I'm not, I'm like maybe halfway through, which kind of made me hesitant to jump right into Gamma Flight. But luckily, I didn't feel like I missed much in the grand scheme of things. Any relevant details that are going to play an important part in either series are fleshed out or at least briefly touched upon before coming back into play later. That having been said, if you haven't read any of the Immortal Hulk, Gamma Flight likely should be skipped, since it does tie in with that series in some direct and very significant ways. The primary artist on Gamma Flight is Lan Medina, who's like no stranger to Marvel Comics. Medina has also worked on stuff like X-Men, Venom, Cable, and Deadpool, some of my favorite stuff over the years. He continues to bring his unique style to the forefront of superhero comics in Gamma Flight. While his art isn't flashy, Medina finds a really great balance here in making characters appear both realistic and emotive while still possessing some semblance of cartoonish charm from bygone eras of comics. It's really a great art style that matches the world defined in the Immortal Hulk incredibly well. Gamma Flight #1 is definitely worth your attention if you are engrossed in Al Ewing's run on the Immortal Hulk. Like myself, this issue might not have much action or excitement, but the writing and the characters are more than enough to pull readers in. And like I said, if you've been reading Immortal Hulk in any form over the past few years, this will be an easy add for your pull list. And I'm definitely gonna give this. I'm gonna give it a hella dope right now, just because it's too new. But I can see it becoming super dope, super quick. Really cool concept. And that is Immortal Hulk, man. I mean, I'm sorry, that is Gamma Flight #1.
It sounds like something I need to read, man. I need to get down with some of that Gamma Flight.
Did you read any other books?
That Phantom on the Scan.
I'm telling you, man, that looks phenomenal.
That's the best thing I read since that's the best thing since Pockets on Pants right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Okay. So I'm definitely going to hit my
I say that, Reno.
Put that on there.
Yeah, I say that, Reno, only because, like I said, I have seen so many. When I say so, I have seen so many TV shows, movies, short clips where they try to do telekinesis, and then they try to do, the problems. Like, they try to make these modern day guys or girls, and they have telekinesis, and they're kind of gothic, and they're kind of dark. But in this comic, they're not like that. They're just regular kids or people, and they're just looking for answers. But in the midst of doing that, they just run into some bumps in the road, and they have to use their powers to get around that.
Right.
I like that because it's not so drawn out. It's not so, so obvious. Like,
right.
And Hollywood does it, but they get it wrong. Man. It's just never. Yeah. It's never really. It's either hit or miss with Hollywood with that. But that comic, you want to do a show like you've been trying to do Hollywood. That's the book you need to do. That you need to get that. Write you a script from that. Use their source material and do what you got to do. All right. But I didn't have a chance to read any other books, man. I didn't. Well, we ran out of time.
Yeah, no, I mean, we gonna still, we gonna still. I still got more stuff coming. I'm still gonna review some stuff. Be on this show. I'm definitely gonna write some things that are gonna go on the Comic Crusaders website. So definitely check out comiccrusaders.com, and I'll have reviews. Yeah, I'll be writing reviews up there, articles, all that stuff from my man Al Mega. And again, shout out Comic Crusaders, that's the crew. Shout out Fullblast Radio, that's the tribe. Shout out to my man's Madmen of Comics on Instagram. Clayface 90, Chronic Schizo, Dad and Daughters Comics. Shout out the comic dudes on Instagram, Cooks 24, Spadeonomics Comics, and OG Green Lantern, my road dog, and of course myself. Stu, you're gonna be joining us on Instagram soon, I hope, because you're missing out on so much. Check us out, Instagram 6_element_of_hip_hop, 6 element hip hop on Instagram. Definitely check us out. But Stu, you got to come out there, man. You gotta join them Instagram.
Yeah, I'm gonna hook it up this week. I'm gonna hook it up this week, man.
Word, because I was a holdout. Like I didn't mess with nothing. Like before Full Blast Radio, before I got heavy into that and YouTube, I wasn't doing social media at all. No, I had no Instagram, I had no Twitter, I didn't have none of it.
I got a Twitter feed, but that's it, man.
I think I set up a Twitter back in like 2008 or something, and then I never touched it. But I've obviously made a new one since then. 6th Element of HH. Check us out on Twit and Twitch. We got one, 6 Element Hip Hop. We everywhere. And of course, Comic Crusaders is everywhere. You got comiccrusaders.com, Comic Crusaders the app, Comic Crusaders the board game, Comic Crusaders you know what I mean? Like he everywhere. So definitely
Comic
keep
Crusaders,
an
yeah,
eye
they
out for
definitely.
the CC
Yeah,
crew.
they even have a bar of soap. Yeah, Comic Crusaders soap. Yeah,
Cereal
so,
coming soon.
mhm.
Shampoo and conditioner.
Shampoo, all of that, man.
Comic Crusaders
Combs.
lunch boxes
Yeah,
on the way.
yeah,
Telling you.
they did. Comic Crusader paper plates with Almega's face on
And paper weights of Almega's head.
there.
Telling you.
Yeah, dope.
Yo.
Almega's everywhere.
All right, brother.
Shout out to
Yo,
Almega.
salute to the tribe. Shout out Almega. Again, it's DJ Tiger Fullblast Radio. Peace, everybody, and we will see y'all this Friday. Stu and I will be on
Hosting
Fullblast Radio at 6 p.m.
Artist
doing the artist
Showcase.
showcase. Word up. So check us out. We'll be there Friday, and of course, you'll see us on Instagram this weekend. We'll be selling comics at the auction on Sunday evening from 6 p.m. to midnight. And we'll be selling comics on Instagram. Me and the Madman of Comics. Check us out. We'll be we'll be putting out fly comics for the low, not cheap comics. I'm talking about nice, good, clean, good issues, dope comics for the cheap, because we do it like that. We start bidding at $1, man. I've seen people bid on some $30 comics, start at $1. Nobody else bids. Guess what? You just got it for $1, man. So check us out. And of course, every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. back here on New Comic Book Day Indie Reviews. Peace.